This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. I'm delighted to be joined by the source for WBO Cruiserweight World Champion Lawrence Okolie here in London. Lawrence, firstly, how are you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Obviously, getting ready for your bout with Michal Cieslak on the horizon. Firstly, just talk about camp.
Yeah, camp's going well. Obviously, I've got good sparring in, so we're going to really sharpen up over the next few weeks. For me, camp is, I'm always ticking over, so I've got a really good natural base fitness. But you want to peak up towards the fight, so I'll do three more hard weeks of sparring. I've got another 12 rounds on tomorrow. So I'm just going to keep pushing. Obviously, once you've got the base fitness, it's also about up and down the gears. This guy, I've looked at him in his eyes. He's coming to do some damage. So it's up to me to make sure that I'm still smiling February the 28th, and he goes back to Poland a loser.
What did you make of your face-off with him when you was looking into his eyes?
Nothing. There's nothing to say. There's nothing. For me, face-offs you don't gain nothing from except for a nice picture opportunity. It's very rare that an opponent's going to cower away, or you're here to have a fight, so everyone's going to look at you in your eyes, and for me it's irrelevant, because I've done in the amateurs big face-offs, and I've said I won that face-off, and then I got smashed up. So it's about figuring out what works for you, and what works for me is winning on the day, not winning a face-off.
Lawrence, I'm interested to know more about, you said you've watched his interviews online. Even if you don't know what he's saying, you've been watching his interviews. What do you feel you take away from doing so?
For me personally, it's good to just kind of understand to some extent who you're going to be in a ring with, because it's kind of like with him I've already mentally prepared myself to drop him and him to get up and keep grafting, for him to be, every time I throw a punch he's trying to retaliate. You watch the boxing, and then you also watch a bit. Obviously people talk a good game and fight not so good, but I just like to feel like I know the person. It's my own sort of weird thing, but yeah, I like to see what their family life's like. I like to see who their trainer is and whatever else. But as we get closer to the fight, like now, I stop paying attention and just focus on the actual block a jab, land a jab, slip, counter, how to get my right hand timing right on the pads, bags, sparring, and then on the fight night.
Lawrence, on the fighting front, from what you've seen of Cieslak, what are you expecting from him? Eddie's adamant this will be your toughest test so far.
It's up to me to make it not. Like I'm hoping to get a knockout in my usual time frame. So that's kind of what I'm working towards. But on paper, yeah, he's going to be blocking shots. He's got good feet, so I'll be able to get out of range quickly. So I won't be able to just. I can't be lazy in the ring. In most rings, I can be very lazy, like not just mentally, but just actually physically. I'll take a step back. But in this one, I'm gonna have to be very sharp, as in dictating the pace, dictating it with my footwork, dictating it with my other bit. I don't want to say too much, but I can, educate some people on boxing. So I think when you box an orthodox fighter who's slightly shorter than you, with decent speed and decent boxing IQ, you have to get them out of rhythm and out of position. So that's a major part of what I'm doing in training. And then also, I believe that when I land my right hand on anyone, they're going to know about it. So I'm looking to. It's not going to be easy, because he's going to pose his own threats, but I'm going to get the right hand off as early as possible, and then try to get the fight done within 5 to 7.
Lawrence, we heard Eddie point out all of the things that you do outside of boxing. We know you're an ambitious guy with everything you're doing there, not just within the sport as well, with that in mind. Is it difficult to get up for this fight, because you've spoken about unifications? You see what Briedis is doing with Jake Paul, obviously Makabu's fighting this weekend, so that could happen down the line, but it's not the fight next up, which I imagine you wanted to see. Is it difficult to get up for it? And I saw you tweet previously saying you'd flirt with heavyweight at some point this year.
No, of course. Well, as soon as you actually have a fight made, there's a guy there that's coming to knock me out. You know what I mean? There's no more motivation that you need than that. It's not, the thing I get up for is not a title or a unification. It's for a fight. So the reality is, I'm gonna have a fight. I get up because I know that when I'm winning, I'm able to do the stuff you're talking about. I'm able to open up businesses, get information that helps me and whatever else. So for me, it all stems off of boxing, and I haven't hit anywhere near the pinnacle that I'm aiming to hit. So I'm actually probably most motivated for this fight than I have been for any other fight, because I know what lies on the other side of it, of a victory.
Lawrence, you're a big guy, as we can see, and a lot of people believe you will do well when you eventually do move up to heavyweight. Have you got a time frame in mind as to when you think that could be?
As soon as the McPlant gets hold of me, you know what I mean? I've been flirting with it here and there, look, but as soon as I, go all in on those, then maybe. But as of right now, I'm making the weight well. I think this one will probably be the hardest one that I'm going to have to do. But as soon as it becomes too hard, I'll step away. I think like performance, as I said, for me, is more important than any belt. So if I don't feel like I can perform at the 200-pound limit, I'll just leave it alone.
I just want to get your thoughts on the Mairis Briedis and Jake Paul situation. What have you made of his tweets and his videos towards Jake instead of maybe looking to secure a fight against yourself?
He's a wet now, I'm joking. Just in all seriousness, though, it's a joke. Like it more puts boxing in a bad light than anything else. He can phrase it in whatever way he likes. I'm gonna clean up the sport, and well, no, you're literally calling out a 3 or 4-0 novice who used to be a YouTuber, and you're most accomplished world champion at the weight class. It's a bit embarrassing, a bit sad, really, and that's just how I feel about it.
I'm interested, Lawrence. Canelo's been spoken about for a potential fight with Michal up at cruiserweight. Let's say if that happened to happen, would you then look to throw your hat in the ring to face him?
I mean, listen, payday. We all like do you know what I mean? And it's a fight that I believe I'd win, and I'm a fan of Canelo. Stylistically, great fighter. Really, one of the best fighters I've ever seen. However, he's 5 foot. I don't know what it is, but he's nowhere near 6 foot. I'm 6'5". I'm also able to knock out heavyweight men, and he's at most a light heavyweight. So it'll be interesting.
Final thing, I just want to get your thoughts on Lawrence, just because you're under the 258 banner. Anthony Joshua, obviously a lot of talk about potential step-asides and what have you. I just want to get your opinion on it, somebody who knows AJ personally, what he's like as an athlete, as a competitor. What have you made of the stories of him potentially stepping aside and what have you?
Yeah, well, it's a difficult one because obviously when the question gets posed to me, I ask myself, hey, I'm not in that position. If someone offered me 10 million, 5 million, like to step aside... Do you know what I mean? But it's difficult to say, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of them ones, when you talk about that kind of, obviously it's about glory, it's about a revenge and this, that and other, but when you stop and think about it and think, it depends on the package. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but for me, it's the package. If the package is, you get step-aside money, put that to one side, that's not what we care about. It's about undisputed and the 100% shot at the winner. The whole time, Deontay Wilder was saying it, AJ was saying it, Fury is saying it, and now we've got Usyk, obviously, who did it at cruiserweight. They're saying it. The whole aim is to have all 4 belts with one person. Well, this gets everyone there a little bit quicker, and then you get a guaranteed shot at the winner. And then say Fury won, AJ would be able to, God willing, beat Fury, and then fight Usyk. Or if Usyk won, you get straight in with him anyway. It's a hard one, but then you could also take that fight, and then people are getting stripped. It's not my place to say, but these are all of the different, and it's easy to say, go for the Usyk fight, but then it's also easy to say, however many million, I don't know. I don't know. You asked me a hard question here, but yeah, I don't know.
Right, an easier question just to end on the source. Just say something to everybody who's going to tune in to watch your fight with Michal Cieslak.
Yeah, I'll be continuing. I've got a 7 KO streak right now. I'll be looking to push that onto 8 with an emphatic knockout and continue pushing my life in the direction that it's going in, which is upwards.
Lawrence Okolie, I appreciate your time as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much.